So I guess, and what was wonderful, as I said, a few months just before recently, right? I explained to her, really that, you are not just something I kind of think it's nice to have around, it's you are something I need, you're part of me. And I think after that she realized, look, that was what I know she meant to me. And the last few weeks of our life, or her life, with me, were really, really, truly wonderful. She would have the most beautiful smiles waiting for me when I came home, or sometimes she would come home because she works later than me, right? And it was truly, truly fantastic. And I guess in a way, in some strange way, I'm glad that, not glad, but it happened at the time when our lives were that wonderful. So, I cannot describe how immeasurably happy I was. Really, I know it's hard to say, but at the end of the day, marriage is work, isn't it? We all know that. But but I think we had achieved some new level in our relationship, and for these recent weeks, I was really, truly, indescribably happy. And I guess that's why, what happened is, it's even, harder to talk about. For me, I kind of never even wanted her to, get wet in the rain. Where possible, I would even, try my best to, not that she was soft by any means, right? But, I just didn't want her, would do all I could to just make her life as, smooth as possible. And mind you, she would do the same for me, but, it's just something I did. So, needless to say, being unable to protect her, it was, there's nothing to really say about that. So, yeah. The flight was early in the morning. Okay, it was I think we had to be in the airport by about 5:45 or something like that. I think it was probably as early as 7 something. She was very nervous about the talk, so we sat in the airport, the departure area, and she actually ran through the whole talk with me, and and stuff like that. And but she knew her stuff though. The night before, after the Kai concert, we were sitting and we were having a discussion about the stuff that she was going to talk about and everything else. So I was having a disagreement with her about some some of the facts in there. But then she was arguing, and I'm happy to say that she was right. She argued her way out, and then I had to shut up and okay, right. So we sat in the lounge, and before she left, and she actually ran through the whole talk with me, and I said, your substance is there. You definitely, I'm sure you'll charm them. It's not going to be a problem. So that's when she went off. She arrived in Mumbai. She texted me and told me that basically she had arrived safely. She fortunately had a ride with another lawyer going into the country, and so she had company on the car ride in, and later lunch with him as well. And so although the car ride took, I think, 2 hours plus to get from the airport to the hotel, basically, she had good company and everything else. Yeah. So she messaged me to say that she was having lunch with him, and subsequently that she was going to give the talk. So around evening time, I couldn't speak to her because she was probably in the middle of the talk then, right? I sent her a text, told her that I greatly missed her and really loved her. And yep. Well, I think I understand that it went pretty okay. She said so after the talk she SMS'd me and she said that she thought she was kind of nervous, but I think she said that the guys told her that she did well, although she herself thought that she was nervous during the talk. Yeah. So I think probably about 10 o'clock in Singapore, I was back home. So would it have been 10 o'clock? Yeah. She on the way home, she texted me to say that okay, they're done. They had drinks entertaining the clients after that and everything else. So heading back to the hotel, and she basically said that she was feeling tired and but it wasn't sure whether the others wanted to go for dinner or not. And so I was kind of hoping that she would go back to the room and rest, obviously, because it was she was up since. We were up since 4 something that morning, and she hadn't slept, and we were out at Kai Khan's concert the night before. So actually, honestly, thought she was going back to her room. And in fact, I texted her to say again, well, call me when you get back in the room, because I was almost reaching home already. So I didn't get a call from her because I guess, and I figured that probably, she was probably convinced to go for dinner. They probably just said that, you got to eat anyway, so she went around, right? And at about and the times I'm probably not very sure about what times what the times were and everything else. She called me again. Actually, it was about midnight Singapore time, or just after. Yeah, she said that she's not calm, but there's a slight degree of urgency in her voice, to say that she was having dinner, but they heard some commotion outside. It sounded like gunshots, and then she said, "Okay, wait, they're trying to move us now, and basically, I've got to go." So that. Needless to say, I was trying to. I didn't call her back straight away because I thought, well, let her move. I don't distract her and everything else. But I think about 15 minutes later, at this time I was trying to desperately find out what was going on. I went on the computer and looked at Indian news feeds and everything else. Initially, I think they were saying it was a gang shooting, actually. That was the very first report that came out in Indian news. But I probably found that out subsequently. About 15 minutes later or so, either I called her or she called me, I can't remember. Right, we spoke, and she said that basically she was in a stairwell on the 10th floor, and that basically she was with security and some staff, and that they were waiting for the police basically, and that they were going to wait there for the police. And I guess for me, I was really torn between trying to say get out of the stairwell, because why, if you're in the stairwell, it's the one place where it's quite easy to get trapped, I guess. But I wasn't on the ground there. I trusted that them to tell the right thing, and really that was the last call that I had from her for quite a while. Okay, could I get some water? Sorry. So what followed next was obviously many agonizing hours of trying to find out what's going on. By this time, the news feeds were reporting it as a terrorist attack. CNN and BBC, I think, hadn't reported anything yet, but there were Indian news channels that had live news feeds, so I was following it on that, right? Still desperately trying. I tried calling her a few times. I think probably after, she said she had to lay low, so I didn't try and call her for quite a while, like half an hour, 45 minutes. But after a while, I tried to call her again, and basically the phone would ring, but nobody would pick it up. Yeah. So that was, the situation for many hours. Basically, trying to call her, not listening, not getting anything, just looking at the what was going on TV. And I guess I'm going to skip over some details because I don't want to go into what else we tried to do and everything else. And I'll skip, I guess, to when she did call me back. Yeah, because so it was again, timing I can't be precise. Okay, I'm actually I can't even remember whether it was 5 something or was it 4 something or 5 6 something. But let's say it's 5 something. Okay, in the morning, she called me. When I saw the number, I was like, oh God, that doesn't mean she's all right, right? So she answered, and she was talking in a completely steady voice, okay? She was extremely brave, all right? And she didn't even, her voice didn't waver, and said that she was being held hostage by gunmen. And she said that they were armed with machine guns and grenades. And the message, I'm not going to go into the details about what she said about the embassy again, and to get them to stop and whatnot. But the thing was that, she said she didn't want to panic me. She was so strong. Her voice was just completely unwavering in that call. Okay, and after, when she said and in fact, she even tried to send me a message. She said that there were only 5 terrorists, and I couldn't figure out why anybody would use the word only to say 5 terrorists in the same room as you, right? And later I've understood, when I subsequently spoke to some Indian authorities, they said that the reason there were only 2. That's why she was trying to say only. She was probably forced to say 5, but she used the word only because the reality was that there were only 2 terrorists. So she was actually trying to send a message even in that call that she gave to me. But of course, after that, needless to say, we just went, completely nuts trying to get people and everything else, and we managed to get, MFA and all. Subsequently, I think, I can't remember whether I called or she called, and she said, look, they say that they still see activity, they want, and again, still in a very steady voice, and still talking to me, and I was reacting to her, trying to remain calm as well. And only in her very last sentence did she say, please tell them to hurry up. And and that's when I couldn't really take it. I told her that I loved her so very much, and she said the same thing. So at least the last words that I said to her were those words, and those were the last words. And so I think what you should say is, and I got one more thing to share with you guys, I guess. She did manage to get some emails out and everything else. I think to just to try and the terrorists probably try to get those demands whatnot to people. So she was allowed to send, given access to her BlackBerry, which was with her. She's a BlackBerry. She says she's a crackberry addict. So she got out some emails as well, and I'd just like to share with you something that she wrote to her friends. Okay, this one apparently came in at about 6:36 a.m. Singapore time, and she wrote to 3 of her very good friends, Sandy being one of them, and Lisa and Samantha, and the message to her also was that she was being held by terrorists and etc. But she ended off by saying, "If I don't make it out of here, I love you all." Okay, if I don't make it out of here, I love you all. So she still, despite everything she was facing, she still had the strength and courage to tell her friends, alright, that she loved them. And I do want you to let people know that she was a brave Singaporean, and I don't think, the words speak for themselves, yeah. Okay? And that was how brave she was.